We want to welcome Mark Webb out to the podcast today. Mark started his career in the medical research industry working for a Utah Biomedical test laboratory. He has 2 degrees from the University of Utah and an MBA in global management from the University of Phoenix. He got involved with the supplemental industry working for Nutraceutical Corporation as a senior brand manager, and then worked for a kitchen houseware company where he was over marketing and product development. Their sales went from 1.2 million to 100 million in 1 year. And I was reading that earlier, and I told Shane, I said, I think he needs to come work for us.
Yeah. I'm not going to take all the credit for that. So.
Oh, it's you're on the podcast. You can take all the credit you want.
He's also appeared on QVC and many national radio and talk shows. Mark has acted as a director of global marketing for Unicity International, a national supplement company. He is currently overseeing marketing and branding for Nature's Fusions in Orem, Utah. Mark has also appeared in many TV commercials, been cast in over 20 films, and has produced 2 feature films. So welcome, Mark. We got ourselves a little...
So we got an actor as well, huh?
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of it for a while. Every once in a while, someone will call me up to do a commercial or some spot, and I'll go do it. So,
Cool. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to also say
Fusions lately. So
what's that?
I've said I directed and wrote and produced a couple spots for Nature's Fusions that we.
Oh, okay.
It was like a wholesale commercial that we filmed at a studio and
Nice.
and all that stuff. So I still enjoy doing that stuff. But.
Nice. Yeah, and we want to also give a shout out to Nature's Fusions. They're one of our sponsors at our conference this year, so we're excited to have them on board. And even though it's been a long process in coming, because they came on board in 2020, now we've had 3 conferences canceled and everything else. So we're just excited to actually, get this thing up and going and going from there. So.
Cool. Well, thanks you, Shane and Liz, for having me on the show today. This is awesome. I know it's a little last minute, but it should be fun.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about things for the conference, and we're like, hey, that'd be really cool for our podcast. Do you want to be on our podcast? Because he was talking about a new product that they have. And we've known in the past that was shut down just a little bit ago. So if you want to just take a couple of seconds kind of go over that, that'll be awesome.
Well, I mean, just a background for people that don't know who Nature's Fusions is. We do very high quality essential oils. There's no carriers with them. And then we do roll-on essential oils, topicals, and then there's some accessories that we sell as well. And then we have a supplement line, and that's kind of what I want to focus on today. Some breakthroughs in supplementation regarding glutathione, anti-aging, antioxidants. So I want to go over that a little bit with you guys. That's what you'd asked me to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we also started a CBD line, which is Pro Hemp. So it's buyprohemp.com. We just barely launched that one, but I'm not going to focus too much on that today. But you would ask about what was your question about the new product? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, the N-acetylcysteine. Is it
N-acetylcysteine.
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of people refer it as to NAC, and they're like, what is that? And a lot of people have heard about it. And if you've been trying to get it in a health food store or anything lately, it's very hard to get a hold of because it sells out. And there's a huge demand for that product right now. And the reason there's a demand for it is because a lot of people started taking NAC for COVID. There was a study shown on it that it kills SARS and that it kills COVID too. And so because of that study and that information, you can go Google this and look it up on the internet for anyone that's interested in learning about NAC or N-acetylcysteine.
Well, didn't it help with the lung function, right? It helped open up the lungs. And
so there's been studies done on it for, I guess, respiratory issues, improving that, and especially pneumonia. So before I get into like the product that we have, I just want to give the background on NAC and why this controversy has come up and what the issue is with it. So basically the FDA is in a lawsuit with CRN, which is Council for Responsible Nutrition. And so Council for Responsible Nutrition is claiming, hey, this is a supplement. It's been a supplement since the 1960s. Why do you want to pull it off? Well, the drug companies became very interested in this product because of the huge demand for it. It was selling like crazy in all these big box retailers like Target. And then on Amazon, it was selling like crazy. So probably about a year ago, or maybe less than a year ago, Amazon pulled it because of this lawsuit that's going on, as did all the big box retailers. So Walgreens is no longer carrying it, and it was a huge seller for these guys. Well, they don't, I guess looking at it from their perspective, they don't want to be stuck with all this product on the shelves. So, for example, if the FDA wins the lawsuit and NAC becomes a drug, then it's illegal for them to carry or sell that as a supplement, right? So that's why preemptively they've pulled it. Now the reality of it is that this lawsuit may go on for 5 to 7 years before it even gets resolved. And so a little bit about NAC is it's an antioxidant, it's an anti-inflammatory, it has immune modulating characteristics, and because of that, people started taking it for COVID conditions and pneumonia and all that stuff. Now, originally, and still today, it's used in hospitals to treat acetaminophen toxicity. So the way that it works is, for those of you that don't know what glutathione is like the master antioxidant. It's like the gold bar of antioxidant, and our bodies produce it, and it starts as NAC. So it goes from NAC to cysteine to glutathione. Okay. And I'll talk a little bit about glutathione in a minute and why that's so important for our bodies. But basically, because the reason that it works for acetaminophen toxicity is because it pools in the stomach, and your body identifies that rapidly as NAC, and it says, I want that, I can make that into glutathione. So it immediately grabs onto it, it gets pulled into the stomach linings, the epithelial tissue, and it goes basically gets pulled into the kidney and liver immediately and doesn't really go through the body. And that's why it works so well for kidney and liver for detoxifying your body. Now, about 6% of it gets absorbed into the rest of the body and the cells, where the majority of it just goes, through the kidney and liver and exits the system. And that's why it works so well at detoxifying your body, and why they use it for acetaminophen toxicity.
Is the base of it, is it an amino acid? Is that what it is?
Yeah, okay. It is.
Yeah, that's what I think. So, I just want to make sure to clarify.
Yeah, so basically, because, going back to this lawsuit, the reason that they even have a lawsuit and why they're going after this, because number one, it was being sold like crazy and they want to capitalize on it. Mm-hmm. Number two, their case is that because this was studied as a drug and that there was a clinical study done on it in 1962, therefore it is a drug. And it should be classified
which
as
is absolutely asinine. They haven't even thought about it for the last 60 years. But all of a sudden now, because it's being used, and let's be honest, we don't want to go too political, but the way they were trying to get into the whole COVID and treat the COVID was a absolute farce. But yet people were using this, and that was their whole goal, is to not let anything out that was like not necessarily a preventative, but something that could treat it before you had to go to the hospital. And that's what this was doing.
Right. So it would be equivalent to saying, hey, there was a clinical study on vitamin C, so now we don't want to make it available. We want to make it as a drug.
Right. It's a natural product. And pharmaceuticals, to be fair, all pharmaceuticals are usually based on something natural, but in order for them to make money on it, they have to change it and patent it. Because otherwise, if it's not patentable, then they can't make money on it. And that's what's
or patent it, or in their case, they were saying, hey, this was originally, there was a clinical study on it, so it should be a drug. Who knows? We don't know how this is going to play out, but the reality is that it's a key and essential ingredient that we want to utilize to put into our bodies that can make a difference with overall cellular health. So what I was saying about it is that 6% of it gets absorbed. So the majority of it just ends up going into the epithelial tissue, and it goes into the kidney and liver, and that's why it's so great at detoxifying our body. Now, going back to glutathione is very key for cellular regeneration, for health. It helps repair our tissues, repairs our cells. It's every cell and tissue in our body. It's essential and key for. It's also prevents our body or stops free radical damage from our bodies. And I can say the C word, cancer, because it's referring to glutathione. Glutathione helps and stops our bodies from getting cancer because it also breaks down, regenerates the cells, destroys all free radicals, which there's two different studies as to what causes cancer. One is that it's from free radicals that are entering our body, or it's from a reaction or a foreign substance that continues to irritate the cell and ultimately cause a mutation, right? Or secondly, it's genetically. There's a genetic problem that causes a cell mutation and causes these cells to blow up and just replicate as far as cancer cells. Well, glutathione is key for stopping that and every other disease that we may encounter in our lifetime or have an issue with. If we didn't have glutathione, we would cease to exist and be alive. So that's why glutathione is so critical and so key.
And the crazy thing is with glutathione, it seems to me, and I mean I've been in the natural world for about 25 years. It's only been in the last 8 years or so that people have actually been talking glutathione.
Sure.
I mean, maybe I just missed it for the first part, but it seems like it's fairly, fairly recent. And if the natural world's been talking about it for about, let's say, 8 to 10 years, then the medical department's only now starting to figure it out.
Right. And then the average consumer person, that's concerned with their health and their well-being is now catching on to this, and they're going, hey, can this help me? Now there are glutathione injections that you can do. Well, not IVs.
IVs, yep.
Very expensive. If you want to go that route, you can go sit there and get a glutathione IV, kind of like you could with vitamin C's or B's or anything like that.
We actually did that in my office for my wife
you did?
a couple weeks ago.
You did glutathione or vitamins or what?
Glutathione, yeah.
Awesome. I don't know what the cost is. I've looked at it at one time, and I just remember thinking, wow, it's very expensive for a one-time visit, and I don't know how long it lasts.
Right.
So I'm sure it probably lasts for a few days or more. But anyways, if you have some type of disease or condition, glutathione IVs may be very beneficial. So could N-acetylcysteine. So going back to NAC, and what I really wanted to talk about is not only NAC, but this new discovery that we have come across at Nature's Fusions that no one is really doing, and this isn't even a product that's available yet, but you had asked me to talk about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm more than happy to tell you about it because I thought it was so fascinating, and most people don't even know what it is. Well, the name of it is NACET, which is NACET, and it stands for N-acetylcysteine ethyl ester. And so what they've done is through esterification, they've attached an ethyl alcohol molecule to NACET. And you may be saying, well, what's the reason for that? It's so we can get drunk faster. That's not really the real reason. So ethyl alcohol is very toxic,
right.
But in this case, it's not really causing any toxicity issues. But what it does, the way that it works, is that by binding this ethyl ester to the NAC, when it enters the stomach and the body doesn't recognize it as NAC, and it doesn't immediately grab on and hold it. It says, I don't know what this is. It's not NAC. I don't want it.
So it's able to go through the digestive tract more.
It goes through the digestive tract. It doesn't pool in the stomach, and what it ends up doing, it ends up in the red blood cells. Now, NAC will not cross the blood-brain barrier. Very small amount of it does. So it's not really beneficial for brain health, ocular health, and as I mentioned, only 6% of it really gets absorbed into our bodies and gets utilized. So that means, like, as far as helping with lung health and everything else, heart, because the NAC is good for basically every organ in our entire body. Glutathione is, right? So, but the reality is most of that just helps detoxify our system rather than making it through the rest of our bodies. Now, NACET has a completely different mechanism. Because it crosses the blood-brain barrier, it's able to go not only into our brains, but there's been studies done on it for Alzheimer's, for cognitive issues, for Parkinson's. So glutathione, by getting that into our brains, is helping with everything, and it's able to go into every organ of the entire body, not just primarily through the digestive system or tract like NACET going through the kidney and liver.
So
Because your
let
body
me ask
pulls
a
it
question.
and grabs onto it. Yeah, go ahead.
So someone's taking a glutathione supplement, like we
Yeah.
have a liquid glutathione in our office. What you're
Right.
saying is that that's not able to get into the brain system as well, right? Because of crossing the blood-brain barrier.
No. So
But this product that you guys have either created or now are doing, because of the other chemical with it, it's actually now able to cross the blood-brain barrier, and because of that, it's able to help other things.
well, not necessarily.
Is that making sense? Did I say
Yeah,
that right?
not necessarily that causes it to cross the blood-brain barrier. What it does is cause it to bypass becoming pooled in the stomach and in the kidney and liver. So it immediately gets absorbed into the red blood cells.
Okay.
So the red blood cells now act as a carrier, and they transport that throughout the
And
entire
that's what allows
area.
it to get into the
That's what allows it
Okay.
to get into the brain and the eyes and everything, so through our entire system. Now here's what I found so fascinating about it, is that this product is 1,000% more absorbable than NAC. So 90%, up to 90% of it gets absorbed, as opposed to 6% of NAC.
So this kind of reminds me of a little bit of like the liposomal, when you have like the vitamin, you have to put the oils around it, whatever, to be able to transport it. This is kind of seems like this is sort of how you can get NAC to be able to absorb a lot better
and be fully utilized by the body. Yeah, totally. So that's a good example of the way the liposomes work as well. So because this bypasses that, it's kind of like this. We're in the process of creating this like little cartoon video, those explainer videos.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I was gonna, we're gonna have like, I look at NACET as being like this little ninja that's able to sneak past everything, and it hitches a ride in this red blood cell car, and it gets transported through every place in the body, and it's fighting off these like free radicals, right? It's just beating them up, and it's benefiting our body. And so that glutathione is helping with cellular regeneration. It's helping fight off these free radicals. It's basically the most powerful antioxidant that is in our bodies. Glutathione is. So that's why that is so key and so beneficial to our bodies. Now the advantage to this is because of this lawsuit and because of NAC being pulled by all of these big box retailers, our plan is to launch this into all these big box retailer stores, because NACET is available. The problem we're finding is really just supply. How can we get enough of it, and how can we find enough people to manufacture enough of this to fulfill the future need? Because everyone's going to want this product once it becomes available.
So you're saying that you can't NAC you might not be able to get, but the NACET you could get?
So NAC you can source that. So what we need to do is find someone that can take NAC and esterify it. So they make an ethyl ester out of it. So they convert it into NACET. So we have a resource for that, but the supply is kind of limited right now. So
Gotcha.
We did a test.
So you're able to do it. You just don't think you're going to be able to make enough of it once this hits the market.
Oh yeah. So we have to make sure that we have enough of it to fill the demand for it.
Right.
So once one big box retailer brings it in, that could equate to like millions of bottles that we immediately need to make.
Right.
So right now we have, over 1,000 bottles of it, and now how do we ramp this up and blow out a ton of it?
How do you go from 1,000 to 1 million in a couple of
Yeah. So just one thing I wanted to point out, just as a precautionary, if people are on blood thinner medication, you should not take NAC.
Oh, okay.
So it inhibits that process. Or if you are, consult with your doctor before doing that.
Now, can you take the NACET though?
No, same thing.
Okay.
Because they're similar. What happens is they both they're the exact same product. One, the ethyl ester is just allowing it to get into the cells rather than 6% of it. Now you're getting up to 90% of it into the cells and into the body.
That's crazy numbers, just because of that one chemical.
Yeah. So the reality, NACET is very expensive to make and to manufacture. So, but the good news is that you don't have to take as much of it. So for example, I was looking at studies on it, and it said you should not take more than 1,200 milligrams of NAC, because it can lead to headaches, nausea, can make you dizzy, things like that. So a good dose, and what most people have, is like 400 to 600 milligrams. I've seen some up to 1,000. So we're kind of like right in the middle. We have a product, the NAC, that we sell under the Nutri line. So the Nutri line that we have through Nature's Fusion is basically just a supplement line. So we have super cranberry gummies, we have sea moss, because there was this whole thing with Kim Kardashian, saying she put sea moss in her smoothies, and now GNC is the number one seller. Well, ours is like the number one selling product in GNC because of that sea moss product.
All because of her saying that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So people like just
latch
onto these fads. Like anytime some celebrity talks about something, everyone's like, I want that, I got to get it.
Now the Nutri, that's a new thing, because they didn't have that when Nature's Fusions first came on with
so this is a new line that we launched.
Nice.
And we started with the sea moss and the super cranberry gummies for, overall health. Cranberries are a great antioxidant.
Right.
They also help with urinary health and all that stuff. So that's why we have that product. And then I launched the NAC for these guys because I'm like, look, let's take advantage of this. There's a huge demand for it. People want it, and they can't keep it on the shelves. So that's why we launched NAC, to keep up with that.
So this NACET, NACET, is it a liquid form?
It's a powder.
It is a powder form. Okay.
Yeah. So it has a really pungent sulfur smell, just like NAC does. You don't want to taste it. As a matter of fact, I tasted it when we were making it. I'm like, I wonder what it tastes like. It's the worst thing I've tasted in my entire life. So you do not want to put it in any powdered drink mixes or anything like that. You want to take it as a capsule and get it down.
It tastes like that rotten egg smell.
Oh, terrible. Worst. I mean, I literally tasted this stuff, and I'm like, it's the worst stuff I've ever tasted in my entire life. It was so bitter. But anyways.
That's funny.
But it's very beneficial for you, and because of those sulfurs, I guess that's why it's so beneficial to our bodies, because of those sulfur chains that we have in our bodies, right?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And so when is this going to be able to be out?
It technically will be available very soon, but in limited quantities. So
are you going to be able to have it in time are you going to have some at the conference? April 22nd, 23rd?
To purchase, or just
as the demo to whatever, I don't know if
we may display it and show it, and we have lots of literature and things about it, and we have the video that we're working on putting together, explaining it. And we also, if anyone's interested in like learning more about it, we created a whole information page, which is basically at naturesfusions.com/NACET.
Okay.
So if you go there, it talks about the brain health, it talks about why, how it gets converted into glutathione, all that stuff. And we'll be posting more information on there. But we want to be basically the first person to market with this product, and share it with everyone. And really, it kind of ties into our company philosophy. So whether that's essential oils, whether that's nutritional supplements, we're creating products to change and impact people and help them live happier, healthier lives. Kind of like what you guys are doing with this conference and this show, and bringing all this knowledge and information for people to learn ways to improve their overall health and well-being, right?
For sure.
So I appreciate that.
Well, what I love is that, you're being able to bring a product that none of us, we don't even know about it. There's a lot of us that have never even heard of NACET before.
Sure.
And so, like at this conference, this is where you're able to find all of these things that we're not even aware of, a lot of these.
Pretty soon everyone's going to be talking about it, and the tagline's going to be, "What's all the racket? It's only NACET."
You've already patented that one, haven't you?
I just thought of that right now as we're talking.
Yeah, you need to patent that little logo. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So at the conference, you'll have either some, but mostly will be informational.
Yeah,
and things
so
of that
I
nature.
I don't know. Have you guys had in the past? I have not personally. I've not been to the conference
Right,
before.
right, yeah. So we
I've
just had
heard
the one
about it.
conference before in 2019, and then everything
Yeah,
got shut down 2020. And that's another thing
sure.
that's so cool, just in talking with you, because it's our conference has been canceled and canceled and canceled, right, because of COVID.
Yeah,
But I didn't know that all the different things that Nature's Fusion is doing. I mean, I knew they were an essential oil company. They're basically the largest essential oil company in Utah that's not an MLM, right?
right,
And they
right.
do a lot of white labeling and things of that for different
Yeah,
companies and
we
stuff like
do.
that.
We do a lot of contract manufacturing and
Right.
white labeling. And as far as the oils, there's about 80 oils that we have. And there's a lot of different blends. We have topicals,
Right.
there's oils that you can put in diffusers for aromatherapy.
And I
There's
think back
accessories.
when we were kind of first talking, they were just starting to do some CBD with the oils,
Yeah.
infusing those. But in the past 2 years, man, it sounds like you guys have really gone crazy in terms of advancing more stuff, like with this whole
Yeah,
Nutra
so
line
going
and things of that nature. That's awesome.
right, so going back to the CBD, we had a lot of issues. So right now there's all this legislation that's not finalized in different states and different areas regarding hemp.
Okay.
So in regards to that, there's certain websites that don't allow you, or certain stores or certain big box retailers are like, look, we want to be part of the CBD craze, but we don't want people to take it orally,
Oh,
ingestible. We're not involved. We don't want to be involved in ingestible CBD like gummies or tinctures and
right,
things like
right,
that.
right.
So what we've had to do is basically pull all those products. We had some amazing products that were topicals that were, matter of fact, we have one that's a pain cream that's an OTC product that works amazingly for pain. And it's not just straight menthol, it's using essential oils as well, because essential oils can be very strong.
Right.
And all of our essential oils that we have don't have carriers in them unless it's for the topicals. So
But you
they're
said you had to pull that
100%
one?
oils. What's that?
You said you had to pull that one?
No, so
Or
we've
that was
pulled
still
all the
okay?
CBD products
Oh,
off of the
okay.
website. So
Oh,
we're no
wow.
longer selling CBD products under Nature's Fusions line.
Oh,
So
okay.
so to remedy that problem, and it had to do with credit card processing, it had to do with getting into other retailers, because some retailers wouldn't bring in the oils because we're selling CBD products. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we basically created a whole new company. It's an entire new company called Pro Hemp. And so that has a more of a complete line before. So we got twice as many products that we're doing. We're doing topicals, edibles. There's a pet tincture for your cat or dog, and we're doing stronger strengths. So we're doing like 1,000 and 3,000 milligram bottles, and then we're also doing terpene boosted, and we're doing regular CBD. Because as you know, there's multiple cannabinoids. There's not just one. CBD is just one cannabinoid. And then we also have a full spectrum. So a lot of people like and want the full spectrum CBDs. So we're doing that. We're doing gummies. We're kind of doing everything. So, and then there's some roll-on CBDs as well. And then we have that cream, which I don't remember what it used to be called, but now we're calling it pain cream. So we can call it that because it's an OTC registered product.
Oh, okay. Nice. And the
So
nice
that
thing
can be
is all these things
pharmacy.
are going to be at the conference as well.
Those will be at the
Thank
show,
you.
and we'll be giving away free samples
Nice.
of the pain cream
Oh,
and
awesome.
essential oils and stuff. And then we have some educational seminars. One where I'm going to talk more about NAC and NACET if people want to know about that. And then we're going to talk about essential oils and uses that people can, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, what do I do with essential oils? I put them in a diffuser and they make my house smell nice.
Right.
Well, there's multiple other uses for them as far as topically goes, or things that you can use them for, in food preparation, for cleaning, household cleanings and things like that. So we're going to have a seminar that covers and talks about all those different uses and how we can implement and use essential oils in our daily lives for our families and for our overall health and well-being.
And that's the biggest thing is because people people learn stuff, but then they don't know how to use it. And so that's going to be awesome that you're going to talk about that with the essential oils. And then I know you're going to talk about CBD and more on this NACET.
Sure, yeah. We'll talk about the full spectrum, the hemp. But if anyone's looking for the hemp product, yes, they can go to naturesfusions.com. If they're looking for Nature's Fusion products, that would be the Nutri line, the supplements, as well as the essential oils and the topicals. And then if they're looking for information on the hemp products, which is our other company, a separate company, and that's at buyprohemp.com, B-U-Y.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
Prohemp.com.
Nice.
So, Mark, I know we talked about that there was an offer you wanted to share with everyone.
Sure. For all of your viewers and for anyone attending the show, for like the next week, we're going to offer a coupon code. And if they just type in Be Healthy, that will give them 30% off their entire order, whatever they order. Whether it's like the essential oils or the supplement line or accessories, that'll get them 30% off of the website.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very much.
And, with one thing about your line is that it's not terribly expensive either. So that 30% off is actually a really good deal.
And that's at naturesfusions.com.
And is Be Healthy, just Be
to
Healthy,
be healthy.
right?
Just Be Healthy, yeah. Be Healthy will be the coupon code. Upper or lowercase, doesn't matter.
All right. Well, good. Well, thank you very much. And I know
you're
that
welcome.
they will really enjoy that.
Yeah, thank you very much. And they'll also be offering that at the conference.
Yeah, we can do that for the conference for anyone attending. So we'll have like a code letting people know that that's available also for anyone attending the show. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thanks for having me on there. And I want to personally thank everyone out there who's watching this and viewing, and invite them to come to the show as well, to the expo.
Oh, nice. Yeah, thank you very much. And you know what? That's why we do the conference. It's a lot of work on our part, and it's not, it's a lot of work, you don't realize until you start doing this, and this all came about because we were crazy and decided to put on a conference, but other than that, we just want people to come and be able to listen to people like yourself. Things that no one, our conference might be the first place where they actually learn about NACET. And stuff like that. And that's what we want. We want to be able to be where, people can come and learn these secrets of what is being taught out there and what they can learn so they can go home and live a healthier, happier life and do it in a natural way.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Shane and Liz.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much.